Hi, this is Rick Teepen. My ministry is Snakes Alive, and in this episode we're going to take a look at mutations. Now, after Adam and Eve committed the very first sin, the world wasn't perfect anymore, and things were changed from then on because the world was cursed. Death and disease entered the world, and sometimes animals and humans came out the way they weren't originally intended to be. These are mutations, where the genetic makeup isn't perfect anymore. Now, evolutionists will tell you that animals mutate in order to better survive in their environment. And I'm going to show you some examples where that's just not true. In fact, most cases, it's a step backward. You see, this is a corn snake. The interesting thing about the corn snake is where he gets his name. If you look at the pattern on his belly, it looks like wild corn. And if you look at the colors and patterns on his back, well, they're beautiful. Why do you suppose God painted this corn snake the way he did, with these beautiful colors and patterns on his back? Well, the answer is camouflage. And camouflage is a color and pattern that allows the animal to blend in with his surroundings so that the enemies can't see him. And you can find the corn snakes in South Carolina, where the dirt is very orange. So if he were crawling along in the woods, you probably wouldn't notice him because of his camouflage coloring. That's the way God intended it to be. Now, if you look at this corn snake, I don't think he would blend in very well in South Carolina. Maybe in Alaska, but it's too cold for snakes there. This is an albino corn snake, and he is a mutation. You see, his genes didn't produce the pigment to give him his camouflage coloring. But that's not a step forward for this animal, it's a step backward. It doesn't help him survive better in the wild. It usually signs his death warrant. Because without his camouflage, this animal would stick out like a sore thumb in the wild. Other animals would see him as a baby and eat him. You don't see too many adult albinos in the wild because of that. And not all albinos are white either. This is an albino corn snake. He's known as an amelanistic corn snake. That means he lacks the brown and the black pigment, but he still has the red and the orange. And if we look at this corn snake, he's the opposite. He's a melanistic corn snake. So he's got the black and the brown pigment, but he doesn't have the red or the orange. And sometimes a double mutation can occur. This corn snake is a double mutation. He didn't come out with a corn snake pattern. He came out with stripes. And he's also an amelanistic albino. And he's also getting ready to crawl out of his old skin. He's shedding his skin, and that's how he grows. But as you can see, these mutations aren't the result of evolution, but they're the result of sin. And yet God still lets good things happen out of situations like this. It tells us this in Romans 8:28, that God can take any situation and make something good come out of it. Isn't God amazing?